CAC's Licensing Subcommittee, and thank you for attending. I'm Councillor Janet Evans, and I will be chairing this meeting. It is being held via Microsoft Teams, and it is also being streamed live. The committee for this hearing comprises Councillor Marie-Therese Rossi, Councillor Abdullahi Noor, and me. Councillors, can you please introduce yourself? Cameras on. Yes.
Hello, I am Councillor Marie-Therese Rossi and I represent Redcliffe Ward.
Councillor Noor.
My name is Councillor Abdullah Noor. I represent Golbong Ward.
Thank you. We are joined remotely by Paul Phelan from the council's team. Is that where, Paul, are you here? Yes.
Good morning, Chair. I'm present. Just to let you know, I'm having connection difficulty, so I'll have to keep my camera off. Apologies.
Everybody's having it this morning. Okay. Our legal officer, Lindsay Lemassurier.
Present, Chair.
Also with us are our committee officers, Holly Weaver and Daniela Heel, who will be monitoring all of our connections and help with any technical issues we may have. Before we start this case, just a few ground rules. Please keep your microphones on mute until you are invited to speak, and please make sure your mobile phones are on silent. Do keep your cameras on when not speaking if you wish, unless we run into connection problems. Please note that the Microsoft Teams chat function is not monitored, so please do not use it. In addition, this is a public meeting and the chat would not be seen on the live stream. Everyone should have received the procedure for this meeting regarding the use of cameras and how to connect back in if you lose connection. Thank you. Now, the case before us today is to consider an objection to a temporary event notice to be held at Flat 5, Arthur Court, 40 Silchester Road, London W10 6SS. I confirm that I have no declaration of interest to make regarding this item. Do the other members have any declarations to make? Councillor Rossi?
No declaration to make.
Councillor Noor?
I'm not declared to make, Chair. Thank you.
Pleasure. The quorum for this meeting is 2, as there is always the possibility that I may lose connection temporarily during the broadcast. I am appointing Councillor Noor to be appointed as a substitute chair. Members, please confirm whether this nomination is seconded. Councillor Rossi?
I second it.
Thank you very much indeed. I confirm that Councillor Noor has been appointed substitute chair. Thank you, colleagues. For clarity, I will outline the procedure of this meeting, which, as already mentioned, has been circulated with the papers and are online. First, the licensing officer, Mr. Phelan, will give a brief outline of the 10. Please, could you confirm your attendance, Mr. Phelan?
Good morning, Chair. Present.
Thank you. Then I will ask premises user, Ms. Monique Walsh-Gemot, to present her submission. She will have up to a maximum of 10 minutes to do so. Please, could you confirm your attendance?
I confirm my attendance.
Thank you. Then questions may be asked by members of the committee, the legal officer, and the responsible authority of the premises user. Next, Environmental Health, Mr. Julian Trill, will present his objection. He will have up to a maximum of 10 minutes to do so. Please, could you confirm your attendance, please?
Good morning, Chair. Present.
Morning. Then questions may be asked by members of the committee, the legal officer, and the premises user of Environmental Health. After this, we will ask our legal officer, Ms. Lemassurier, to deal with any further questions she may have. Please, could you confirm your attendance?
Present, Chair.
Thank you. Then finally, we will turn to the governance team to see if any issues have been raised that we need to consider. There will be no summing up, and the meeting will be adjourned for 15 minutes for the committee to consider their decision. The meeting will then be reconvened and our determination will be verbally announced. I would like to remind everyone that the committee has read the papers, which comprises the main pack, so that there's no need to repeat their content. But please do draw our attention to certain points and pages, and governance will move the document on the screen for us. I would like to ask if my legal advisor agrees that when people speak, they turn their camera on.
Yes, subject to them having any issues like Mr. Phelan, but yes, that's not an unreasonable request, providing the person's in agreement.
Okay, let's get going. Mr. Phelan, please can you outline the 10 for us and confirm whether any additional papers have been received?
Thank you, Chair. Good morning, everyone.
Can you
Miss
turn
Miller-
your camera on, please?
Sorry, Chair, I'm having connection difficulties. It will
Oh,
cut
you're the
me
one
off.
who has that.
Yes,
Okay, sorry.
I am. Apologies, no problem at all. Thank you, Chair. Good morning, everyone. Miss Monique Walsh-Gemott has submitted a temporary event notice to hold a licensable event during Notting Hill Carnival on Sunday the 24th and Monday the 25th of August 2025, between the hours of midday and 7 p.m. on each day. The temporary event notice seeks permission for the sale by retail of alcohol both on and off the premises. This temporary event notice has attracted an objection from Mr. Julian Trill, Team Manager of the Environmental Health, Noise and Nuisance Team, on the grounds of public safety and the prevention of public nuisance. A summary of Mr. Trill's representation can be found in the report, and the full objection is included at Appendix B. Mr. Trill has raised concerns that the applicant's submitted risk assessment and event documentation do not sufficiently address the key aspects of public safety, such as the specific stall dimensions, the exact location on the pavement, and measures to prevent congestion or noise disturbance. Particular concern has been expressed by Mr. Trill over the potential for the stall and background music to draw crowds to an area outside the main carnival footprint, potentially leading to unintended congregation and disruption in what is normally a quieter zone. Finally, Chair, I can confirm that there were no additional documents circulated ahead of today's hearing. That effectively concludes a summary of this notification. I'll leave it there for now. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Ms. Walsh-Gemott, are you able to turn your camera on?
I am. I just want to say that there was actually an additional thing that I uploaded, and I sent it to Julian Trill and I CC'd everyone. Secondly, I want to say that I also I spoke to PC, I'm not sure his name, and he said that I was allowed a speaker as long as it was a reasonable level, and I've got the email to say that. I've also uploaded the dimensions of my stall, and I would also like to say that it is carnival. I know that you guys are saying noise and nuisance, but it is a cultural event, which is Notting Hill Carnival, where there is noise. In my risk assessment, I also noted that how I would manage crowd control. The police are actually outside my premises every single year due to Grenfell. So if anything happens, the police are actually outside. They would not go into the road. Even if they do go into the roads are closed. I stated that I will have a bin outside in case anyone trips. All my wires and things will be covered. So I don't really understand as to why it wasn't approved. All the alcohol I will be selling will not be in glass. So I feel like I've done everything possible for it to happen, and I actually did upload something else, so that is incorrect.
Sorry, can I just ask a question here?
Sure.
You said you have uploaded something, and then you said there was a thing you uploaded. What is this thing?
Just a documentation stating everything that Mr. Julian Trill said I haven't stated.
Right, okay.
Did you receive it, Julian?
I received an email Friday evening, so thanks for that, which has answered quite a lot of the queries I had.
Perfect. Thank you.
It was sent to licensing and licensing governance as well.
Yeah.
This hasn't, sorry to interject, but this hasn't been provided to the committee. I mean, usually we would expect to kind of get extra information as an additional submission. Perhaps Mr. Trill can go through it when he does his presentation, so that the committee are aware what exactly, and perhaps even share your screen if there's any pictures or anything relevant. I mean, subject to Miss Walsh-Gemma agreeing to that and subject to the committee agreeing to that suggested process.
I
Committee,
do
are you
agree.
happy doing that?
Yeah, most more than happy to do that. I've also spoken to Patricia, who was dealing with like this event license, and she works at RBKC. And I feel like when I was dealing with her, she was telling me to upload certain things, like to get certain licenses that I wasn't 100% sure on what they are. So I asked her, like, what are they? Like, explain to me what they mean, etc. And she was like, oh, I don't know, just Google it. So I feel like if I'm dealing with someone that's dealing with my license, they should know what I'm supposed to upload. I've also mentioned that in the email. And I think it's a bit unfair that a police officer who she told me was dealing with the case has said, I'm allowed to have it. And now it's been objected. So I'm a bit confused as to like what the correct answer is.
Can I just step in here quickly? So only two responsible authorities can object to a temporary event notice. One is the police, who haven't objected, and the second is environmental health, who have objected. So there's two separate sources who can object. Obviously, you're saying the police haven't put an objection, which is correct, but obviously environmental health have, and we're due to hear their objection shortly. So when you've finished your bit and questions have been asked, we'll hear from Mr. Trill.
With environmental health, is that the speaker or is it like...
We'll hear from Mr. Trill in a minute. Perhaps
Okay,
if you
no
finish your
problem.
presentation and then...
My presentation is done.
Okay, thank you very much. We'll now have questions from the committee. Councillor Rossi?
Yes, hello, Monique, if you don't mind me calling you that. You say on the papers that your capacity is 4 people. So I just wondered if you could elaborate on that. Does that mean you would be serving 4 people at a time?
No. It was 4 staff members maximum.
Okay, so the 4 is not the capacity of the clients. It's just the 4.
No, it's the staff members.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that. So, what capacity do you think there might be for your clients or people who you are, serving with, candy floss or alcohol? How many people do you think might be there at a time?
I'm not really sure, but as living there for 24 years of my life, I know that a lot of people, some people do get off at Latimer Road, so it can be quite busy, but it's not the busiest station Notting Hill Gate is. I can't say how many people it would attract, but we said we would manage crowd control as much as possible, but I'm not 100% sure. I believe there'll be more people on Sunday due to it being the kids' day and Candy Floss attracting the children more than the adults. But at this moment in time, I can't really say because I don't know. And it's the first time ever trying to hold a stall.
Okay, so you're not sure how many people would be there at a time. How long do you think people would stay in the kind of immediate environs of your stall?
I think they would just purchase something and go.
Okay, so they wouldn't stay for long. And then my third question is about the barriers. Do you know where the barriers would be or what type of barrier they would be? I'm trying to get here a picture of...
What, my barriers?
Yeah.
It would just be around the stall. It's literally, the stall is like not very long and it would be just in a square. But there's only so much I can do because I can't move further in because the police actually block that road. So if they didn't block the road, I could move further in so it wouldn't be so close to the road. But because they block my actual road where you'd need a wristband to get in, there's only so much I can go onto the pavement.
Perhaps, Holly, you could put the map up now, the picture, so we could look at it, and that would be helpful.
Yeah, just pulling up the photo now.
Okay, thank you. Mhm.
Please let me know if the other one is better to look at.
As you can see, the road is not that close to this wall. It will literally be on this wall.
Okay, I have no further questions, so I would hand to Councillor Noor if.
Councillor Noor?
Yeah, unmute. I mean, my question is, the sound system you're using, I mean, what time is it?
Within the hours that I've stayed, so 12 till 7.
No, the music system you're using,
Oh, it's just a speaker.
a speaker.
Yeah.
So this, I mean, so sorry, if I can just be clear. So is your flat on the ground floor?
Sorry?
The flat you live in, is it on the ground floor?
No, it's on the top floor.
Okay.
But I also, it's not on and off the premises, it's off the premises. But
Okay.
I also, when I spoke to Patricia, she told me to write on and off the premises, even though I've stated that it's not on the premises.
So it's off the premises.
Yeah, and I've stated that multiple times. However, she sent me a phone call and an email and told me to put on and off the premises. And I've also stated that in my email that I've mentioned multiple times that it's not on and off, it's off.
So in terms of electricity safety, if you live on top floor,
Yep.
where you be accessing the electricity?
It'll be from a car in the car park, a van in the car park, so which is like just literally around the corner.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's the questions I have, Chair. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. I would like to know, first of all, what is your company? Is this your company?
It is
the Peas and Honey. Can you tell us what kind of events you have experience with?
It's weddings, children's parties, decorating hotel rooms, hiring out equipment. So many different events we've catered to.
Okay, have you ever handled an event that with these amount of people?
A wedding, well, not to this extent, but probably a wedding with maybe 600-700 people.
Wow, that's a big wedding.
Yeah.
Okay. And just so you know, we are not concerned. We understand your point, I should say, about the music. It's carnival and that's it. It's more we're focusing on safety.
Yeah,
So,
I understand.
Okay, because we do not want anyone to get hurt. It's a wonderful day. It's we all like carnival, and we just need to make sure that it's safe as much as we can control.
No problem, I get that.
So who will be working with you and what is their experience?
So it will be my two sisters and my mum, and they've been working with me from the start. We've all handled every single event, which would be the weddings and everything that I mentioned. They're all first aid qualified, and my mum's an ex-nurse.
Okay. And have you done this before?
Carnival?
Applied for a 10?
No.
Had your own venue for carnival?
No, I've never done carnival before.
Okay, but you attend carnival?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Now, the slushy machine, is that alcoholic or non-alcoholic?
Non-alcoholic.
Okay, so, and that's you'll have alcohol and what are you doing? Rum punch or what are you thinking of?
It's just like beers, and then Cokes and juices and things like that.
I see. Okay. And how will you be checking IDs for age?
With whatever ID they have.
I see. Okay. And if there's trouble, who will step in?
One of my staff members, but I also are literally right by the police.
Okay, show me in this design, this picture up here. Where are the police?
I sent another one, so if you're able to pull up the other picture.
Okay, well
Yes,
done.
so see where that pole is? They block the road there with the barriers.
Oh, I see, right.
Yeah, so no one can actually get past to where my door is because they barricade it with barriers and you're only allowed to get through with a wristband.
Right. So how are you planning to run this? You'll set up?
Yeah.
And will you have ice? You have the electrical source you said will go into a car.
Mm-hmm.
And that'll be covered so nobody trips.
Yeah, it will go behind this wall.
Okay. And then how will you get restocked if you run out of stock?
From
Where
the
will your
van that's
stock be?
parked.
Sorry?
From the van or my car that is parked in my driveway, and I can come through behind this gate and pass it over.
Sorry, which gate is that?
Just you see the wall behind. I can
Yeah.
walk behind here.
Yeah.
Yep, and pass it over because all the stock will be in my van or in my car that is parked
I
in
see.
the driveway there.
Right. Okay. Fine. And so I think really our main concerns are that you vigilantly do not sell to underage.
Oh yes, definitely.
Okay, because people really they become a danger to themselves. That's
Yes,
what we worry about. And also no spiking of the drinks, etc.
Oh no, definitely not.
Okay, and I'm sure 4 women know about that sort of thing.
Yes,
So,
I've been spiked myself, so
oh gosh.
I know about that.
Awful. Okay, I think that's all from me. And now, does our legal advisor have any questions?
Thank you, Joe. Just one question. Looking at that picture, that's Silchester Road. Your stall is going to be placed on the Silchester Road frontage, not the Bramley Road frontage. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah. And is it going to be placed near the junction with Bramley? Whereabouts will this? How
Just
long is
where
the stall?
where the literally where the wall is, against the wall.
But will it be close to the junction with Bramley Road, or will it be further set back?
No, it's Silchester Road, so it's not
Sorry,
near
I think what I'm trying to get across is, will the table be near the junction? Will it be blocking? I know it'll be back against the wall, but will it be further down Silchester Road, obviously before where the police close the road, or will it be bang on the junction?
Bang on the junction. It's really not that big.
So it will be on the junction, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all the questions I've got. You may want to ask Mr. Trill if he's got any questions now.
Yeah, I just wanted one more question about first aid.
Sure.
And our legal advisor can tell me if it's an appropriate question or not. Because we have to be aware of what the plan is if there is any violent crime. So this is our main concern. I am worried about someone coming around. You're looking at me, I'm looking at you, and wham, pulls out a knife. And that is
Janet, can I just interrupt? The police haven't put in an objection, so crime and disorder hasn't been raised as an objection. It's public safety and prevention of public nuisance. They're the ones that we're considering.
Okay, so it's not relevant here. Okay, thank you very much. That's why I asked my lawyer to intervene. Okay, any questions from environmental health?
Oh, thankfully and very helpfully, the committee and the legal advisor have asked everything really that I was going to ask. The only thing I was just going to ask Ms. Jemmett, do you just have a rough description of the speaker so I've got an understanding of how large it is? Because someone can say a speaker and it can be 4 foot tall and 1,000 watts. From what you've said, it doesn't sound like it's anything like that. But just for my reassurance, just to understand what you might be intending to use would be helpful.
Sure, no problem. Bear with me 1 second. It will be something like 1,000 watts, about 4, maybe 5 foot tall. It's just one of them as well, and that's it.
Are you happy with that, Mr. Trill?
I mean, that's a lot bigger than a domestic hi-fi, 4 or 5 foot speaker. I was envisaging sort of small.
If the
Bookshelf
speaker's a
size
problem, I
speakers.
can definitely, the speaker's not my main concern here. If the speaker's a problem, then I don't mind not having that.
It's just that it's purely the level of noise that's generated. I mean, I appreciate it's carnival, but people living around this particular part might not expect to experience.
No, I think they will,
levels, so-
because I've lived there for 24 years, and before Grenfell actually happened, we had floats used to go down there. But yeah, I from what the police have said, I said I would keep it at a reasonable level. I understand that after a certain amount of time, people want to go to bed. I totally get all of that. But if the speaker is, if you guys think it's too big or it's too loud, then I won't have the speaker.
Chair, may I just jump in here as well? Is the speaker going to be behind the wooden fence, or is it going to be on the highway itself?
It was going to be behind it.
Behind the fence, thank you. Sorry to interrupt.
Okay. So now, Mr. Trill, please can you present your submission, and please do turn your camera on, which it is, and you have up to 10 minutes to do so.
Thank you very much, Chair. So obviously I submitted my representation under the grounds of public safety and the prevention of public nuisance, and you clearly read that. So I don't have a huge amount more to elaborate on that. Obviously, the applicant has now clarified quite a number of the issues that I raised in terms of the location, the size of the stall, and exactly where it was going to be. So it's given us a better understanding of what the proposal is. Obviously, this is adjacent to a sterile area. So although I obviously take what Ms. Jemmett says and the fact she lives there and attends carnival every year in terms of what people will be expecting there, this is away from the main sort of carnival route. And in that sense, it's away from the council officers in terms of how we can keep an eye on things. You know, we are 500 metres to the east, dealing with sound systems. Now, what I wanted to ensure is that I don't come in on Tuesday morning to a whole load of complaints about this 10 and this operation where people have been exposed to sort of music and possibly gatherings of people causing a public nuisance, which we won't have the capacity to come and monitor. Now, obviously, Ms. Gemmett's pointed out that there are police directly adjacent to it, so that more could obviously deal with a number of the matters. But it was just so that's one of the reasons why we've raised an objection, is the fact that we weren't clear on a certain number of aspects, and the fact that is not one that we're going to be able to have eyes on and make sure it is regulated. In terms of the nuisance, obviously, yes, carnival is different, noise levels are different. So what one person would consider to be background music for the other 363 days of the year is things change during carnival and noise levels are louder. And I just wanted to be sure that the applicant understood that the responsibility in carnival is still there, not to perhaps expose people to loud music all day if they've got an adjacent flat where they perhaps don't want to be. So it's just making sure that the level of noise is kept appropriate. Background level of noise in our vocabulary is that you can usually hold a conversation over it. People aren't having to shout to order their drinks and things like that. So we just want to make sure and hear from the applicant that they understood that. And as I've said, the location is away from where we have the noise officers, where we have the licensing team out and operating and monitoring things. So in terms of ensuring that there's no obstruction of the pavement and that things are controlled, the reason we objected is one of the reasons is the fact that we're not there to check on these things regularly, we might be able to send somebody down there. So we want to be confident, if we are going to allow this TEND, that the applicant fully understands their responsibilities and has all the measures in place to do all they can to ensure the public safety and prevention of public nuisance. I think that the applicant has answered quite a number of those queries, but the size of the speaker does sound quite significant. You know, 4 or 5 feet tall. If it was a couple of parcel or bookshelf speakers, you know, the ones that are sort of more sort of smaller size, that might be ones where you think there's not significant bass could be generated, and it would be more akin to playing background levels of music, which during Carnival I think is an important consideration. That's all I have to say on the matter. If you have any questions, please do ask.
Oh, thank you very much. Councillor Rossi, any questions?
Yeah, Mr. Churl, are you concerned at all about the number of people that might be attending at any one time? Does that concern you?
Only in the sense of if people are if the music's too loud and they're enjoying it too much, they might stay on that paved area. I guess they're probably not going to, because they want to go to where the sound systems are and the floats are. And it wasn't the primary cause that there's going to be sort of 300 people there and it's going to be an impromptu sound system, but we thought it could creep up in that direction if it got out of hand and the noise was too loud. But having heard and seen the size of the stall that's proposed, it's not like it's 6 meters of stalls and there's 15 staff and there's loads of, so I don't envisage that. I am reassured by the responses from Ms. Jemmett on that. So I don't think from what she's described we are going to get problems of 50, 60 people congregating there. I'd hope it would be a fairly quick through flow of people getting a candy floss, getting a slushie, buying a can of beer and moving on. But it's obviously important that the cut-off times at the end at 7 o'clock, everything stops, and that people leaving the Carnival area don't suddenly congregate outside here on the way home and start, drinking here. I'm hopefully Ms. Gemmett's had a very successful time and has run out of beer by there, but it's just one of those things to bear in mind, really.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Noor?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I think the noise and nuisance has answered the questions. In terms of, this is for the applicant, not for the council officer. The containers, what you are selling, the beer or drinks, can they not be in bottles?
I put them in cans just as it's safer, because I didn't want to put anything in glass just in case. That was one of my risk assessments. I just didn't want anything. I know people do sell glass, but I would feel more comfortable selling cans.
Yeah,
that's helpful. Thank you.
Agreed.
Thank you.
It's a good point. I have one question yet again about the speakers. Because we go around at Carnival and sometimes those big speakers are at bigger venues. Do you or worry, Mr. Trill, what is the problem if they're turned up affecting people's hearing? Because that's the problem with the larger speakers. The staff there will be right next to it. I don't know if they wear earplugs or not, but is there any problem for residents as far as hearing is concerned?
From the description of this particular stall, Chair, I wouldn't have thought so. Hearing damage is a sort of function of both the level and the time of exposure. So the persons most exposed are going to be Miss Jemmett and her family. They're going to be standing next to it all day. Behind a glazed window, even an open window, that knocks off 10, 20 dB. It's more the nuisance aspect than any kind of hearing damage that's going to be an issue. But I do accept that people living in and around the Carnival area are going to anticipate noise levels. As Miss Gemmett's pointed out, the floats do pass by, and they are probably the noisiest source of music in Carnival.
Mhm.
It's just making sure that the level, the other residents of Arthur Court aren't exposed to a level of music that they probably hadn't expected to. They might expect intermittent noise during the day and bits and pieces, but not a huge thumping speaker from 12 till 7 all day when perhaps they were staying inside to keep away from Carnival. So we just want to be sure that the background level of music is background, and it's sort of where people ordering a beer aren't having to shout. I'm not expecting Miss Jemmett to be there with a sound level meter or doing some kind of noise assessment, but just so that people there can order without having to sort of bellow to get their order across and everyone can hear. And that would be beyond background level of music of people really shouting to get their orders. They might have to raise it slightly, but not absolutely hollering to order a can of beer. Kind of that's the sort of rule of thumb I would suggest.
Mhm. Well, the good news is that Miss Jemmett it's her own building, so she'll know the neighbors and we'll have to live with them the next day. So
That's true. And I want to make things easier on me and my family. Like, I want people to just order and go, so it's easier for me. I wouldn't want the pressure of like a queue of 100 people and having to rush. I wouldn't want that. And if someone's ordering something, I want to be able to hear what they're saying
Mhm.
and give it to them. Like, I don't want to put more pressure on myself. So I totally get what you're saying.
Oh, that's good. Okay, any questions from our legal officer?
Yes, I've
Not
just got
from
a
me.
couple of questions
Mhm.
to Mr. Trill. Firstly, obviously, additional correspondence has been alluded to, which can you just in a nutshell tell us what that information is? And the other two questions I've got, are you now satisfied with the size and location of the stall? And what about the issue of barriers? Because I thought that the police and environmental health weren't keen on barriers. So if you could do what's in the email, first of all, in a nutshell.
Hopefully everyone can see my screen. I've shared the email that Miss Jemmett sent to me at on Friday evening. Can everybody see that?
Yeah.
Yes.
So, I mean, in terms of barriers, I don't think Miss Jemmett is intended to have the metal barriers that, say, the police would use. I think it's taping off is the proposal. So there'll be some kind of, perhaps yellow and black tape, that kind of measure, rather than any physical metal sort of crash barriers.
Are you okay with that?
Given the description, in terms of public nuisance and public safety, I don't foresee there being that causing an issue. Given the size of the stall, I'm satisfied that's probably that will be acceptable for the scale of operation that's proposed here, and the fact that you've got the police directly adjacent.
Can you forward that email to, I think governance may have the email already, but yes, sorry, that's fine, don't worry. Size and location of the stall, can you just talk about that, please, and whether you've got any concerns?
I'm reassured, because the trouble is before it was quite a nebulous plan. It was sort of a couple of screenshots and a rough indication of it, no dimensions. We now have the dimensions. I'm guessing it's a sort of pop-up table, no more than a couple of meters, 1.26 in width, so it really is quite small scale, only 60 centimeters deep, so it's not going to be a huge obstruction on the pavement now that we have those dimensions.
And where, is it bang on the junction though, or is it kind of step back a little bit?
I think, Miss Jemmett, you were proposing to have it up to that junction, weren't you?
Yeah, it wouldn't reach the road or anything like that.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the road. I'm just talking about the pavement area. Will it be bang on the
people won't
junction
be
of the
blocked by the
pavement?
stall, let's put it that way. No one's going to be blocked. The pavement's not going to be blocked. No.
From what I understand from your description, it was going to be within Silchester Road and just up to the start of the Bramley Road sort of pavement, but not encroaching.
Yeah, it won't
Road.
reach
Right?
the pavement at all.
Okay. Okay, and can we just have clarification? Ms. Jemmett Walsh said floats no longer pass by that road post Grenfell, but you've just said they do pass by. Can I just have clarification whether floats are going to pass by?
I have to confess, yes, that was something that I wasn't aware of, that they no longer pass that way.
Because of how loud the music is, they was worried that Grenfell would
Yeah.
collapse. So I can confirm that no floats pass by.
They don't pass that way anymore.
All right,
No,
so
no
not the
longer.
route anymore. Okay, thank you very much. That's all my questions. Thank you.
Can I interject here, Chair, please?
Please.
Lindsay, could you clarify? It seems to me there's been a bit of confusion over the premises and on and off the premises, and the premises are not the flats. The premises, what we can that when we say the premises, it's the licensed area, and the reason
Correct.
the reason it's on and off is because people will be buying a drink and then walking down the street. So
Correct. So
I haven't put it very well. If Lindsay, if you could explain it in kind of
legalese, yes. So the premises doesn't mean your flat inside Arthur Court. The premises means where your stall is set up, where the outline of your stall is. So strictly speaking, that is on sales, that bit there. The people who come to your stall and buy the drinks and take them away, that is an off sale. Strictly speaking, for a temporary event notice, you can have a maximum of up to 499 people. And I think there's been some confusion. You've put down 4 people at your event, and you're referring to the people behind the stall. Whereas in actual fact, the question was more about how many customers do you anticipate? And obviously, it's an uncontained area, so it's very hard to anticipate. But most people put 499 on the application form because that's the maximum for a 10. Obviously, I mean, I don't know how many people can line up at your stall. I don't know how many people you can serve at any one time, but that's it basically. That's the difference between on and off sales, and it's not Arthur Court. It's not your premises. It's the stall area. Does that answer your question, Councillor Rossi?
Yeah, I just think there was a bit of a misunderstanding that off sales really just means that someone buys a drink and then walks down the street. Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct.
That's what I think. Anyway.
So do we have to change the application says flat
No.
5? Is that appropriate?
No, the licensing would have checked the application. Obviously, it's adjacent to flat 5, isn't it? So, I mean, I can make that clear in the decision.
Okay. Any questions from the premises user?
No questions at all. Thank you for clarifying that, because when I did speak to Patricia, I did ask multiple times what it meant on and off the premises, and she said just put it without any explanation. So that makes a lot more sense now. Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, I'd like to ask our legal officer to deal with any other queries.
No, I think I've asked all my questions.
You've asked everybody. And our
Yeah.
licensing officers, anything to add?
Nothing to add from licensing. Thank you, Chair.
And our governance officers, anything to add?
Nothing further from us. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. We've reached the end of this meeting. I thank everyone for their contributions. The committee now has all the information needed, and we will retire to make our decision in private session. We will announce the decision in 15 minutes. So the hearing will now be adjourned for 15 minutes, whereupon we will reconvene and announce our verbal decision.
Will
So
that
we
be
will
at 11
see-
o'clock, Chair?
Yes, exactly 11 o'clock we'll be back. So I will see you all in the pre-meeting, what would we call this? In the pre-meeting session, and we'll come back in here to announce our decision at 11 o'clock. Thank you so much, and thank you, Ms. Jemmett. You did a very good job.
Thank you.
Are you studying law?
No, should I?
You should study law. Okay, we'll be back.
Holly, can you make sure that the applicant is called into the meeting at 11?
Yes, I'll resend her the link now just to make sure she can rejoin. Hi, Monique. Just double checking that you can hear us again.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Is everyone here?
So everybody's rejoined the call. Yes, there we go. Julian's back in as well. I will cut back to the live stream now.
Okay.
And we are back live. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Hello again. The committee has considered an objection from Environmental Health to a temporary event notice, which has been given by Ms. Monique Walsh-Jermett for the premises user for the sale by retail of alcohol on and off the premises. I think we established that it was for off the premises. At the above premises on Sunday, 24 August 2025, and Monday, 25 August 2025, between the hours of 12 noon to 7 o'clock at night, for a maximum of 4 people at any one time. We wish to clarify, of course, the 4 people was meant for the people working. Is that correct?
Yes.
That's correct, Chair. Yes. So obviously we clarified the situation with capacity being
Okay.
499.
Okay. The committee has considered the committee papers and the submissions made by the parties, both orally and in writing. In reaching their decision, the committee has had regard to the relevant legislation, the Secretary of State's guidance, and the authority's statement of licensing policy. In summary, the committee decided, after taking into account all the individual circumstances of the case and the prevention of public nuisance and public safety, the licensing objectives, not to issue a counter notice under Section 105 of the Licensing Act 2003 for the event. This means that the event can proceed on the dates and times specified for the licensable activities specified in the 10. A copy of the reasoned decision will be provided without undue delay. If Environmental Health would like to appeal against this decision, such appeal must be made to the Magistrates Court within 21 days from the date of notification of the full decision, but in any event, no later than 5 working days before the start of the proposed temporary event. I thank you all, and Monique, I wish you a very safe carnival. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
committee. Thank
Thank you,
you.
Chair.
Thank you, officers.
Thank you.
Thank you, officers.
Thank you, Chair.